Wilder Show podcast. I'm Scott. That's Lauren.
Hello.
Hi, Lauren. How are you today?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm okay. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time or before on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, on the TikTok now and again, on Instagram as Wilder Show Pod. Our email is podcast@wildershow.com, or just engage us wherever you find us, wherever you listen on those platforms. Give us a thumbs up or a comment. Wherever you get your podcasts, you'll find the Wilder Show podcasts. So like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share. There's not a lot of war news, except the war is still going on. It's not a lot, but there is a little bit of news about threats from Iran.
Oh, really?
We'll get to in a second. It involves that. Remember that whole thing about the president's plane and the plane he was going to fly on? And we talked about that he's supposed to fly on the new Trumpian plane, the Trumpian style and painted plane. But then it was over there. He was in Turkey, and he was there for that NATO summit. And then at the last minute, they said, no, you're not going to fly that one. You fly the other one. There's more on that, which I know you've probably seen by now, and we'll get to that. Back to school time, though. You see the University of Michigan has changed their grade policy for some freshmen. University of Michigan is trying a new approach to curb the mental health crisis among college-age students. They're doing away with grades for the freshman year.
I did see, not the whole freshman year, just the first semester.
Yeah, first semester. Yeah. So starting in the fall 2027 gives it plenty of time to be opposed. That's a whole year away, right? Students entering the university's College of Literature, Science, and the Arts.
Or defer your enrollment.
Will receive, I can't go right now. This is my gap year. Will receive a pass or no credit. They don't call it pass or fail now. They call it pass or no credit.
Yeah.
You didn't fail. You just went below a 70.
Failure is such a harsh word.
Whatever. Get used to it. It's a real world out here.
I know.
Kids, little kids. Anyway, they'll receive a pass or no credit marks on their transcripts for the first semester instead of traditional letter or number grades. So it's a pilot program. They said it's all, to curb the mental health crisis that can come with being told, you didn't study, and so you got a 62. So I have no problem with it if this is the thing to do, but I would say it should be partnered with another program. How about this? How about to ease the financial health crisis of those kids' parents? The University of Michigan could forego tuition for the first semester.
Yeah, nobody's talking about that.
How about that?
I did see something
Mr.
else, too, that suggested it might have something to do with the fact that so many kids come to college now not quite prepared for the rigor of the
probably
of the
we talked about that before.
The classes they'll be taking.
Yeah, well, that's the way it goes. I mean, sometimes I remember when we took swimming lessons as kids. Now, he did not do this with the paying students, but he did do it with his own kid. Yeah, he took his kid, held him by the ankle at the end of the diving board, and dropped him in the water. And that is partly how the kid learned how to swim. And my point is, it's not the right way to do it. But, hey, welcome to college, kids. Yeah. This is not summer camp. Yeah. This is more serious than that. So gear up. You'll be okay. And I saw somebody earlier who was actually the Barack Obama Secretary of Education. And he was saying he thinks it's a bad idea. Yeah. He thinks that students should have some idea of where they are so they can improve and learn. And I agree with him.
I think they're going to know where they are. I think, it's been a long time since I was in college, but I've had kids who were in college, and they always had a pretty good idea of how well or poorly they were doing in a class.
But how did they know if they didn't get a grade? If they didn't get a grade, sometimes, at least for me, when I thought I did great on something, I bombed. I thought I really did well, but if I had thought I had done really well and I did not get a grade of any kind, except a big P, pass. So everybody gets a P. And at the very end of the semester, you find out, I get an NC, no credit. So my parents paid for it. We got to do it again. Yeah, but how did they know they had done well if it was not attached to a grade?
Well, theirs were attached to grades.
Well, but I mean,
they if you're getting it or not. I mean, you know, you don't think that's true?
Well, I
and just to be clear, there will be grades they will be keeping the grades. They will just not be revealed to the
Telling
students.
to the kids, whatever. I was a little snowflakey myself.
Yeah.
That's just me. Did you see what Shake Shack, we'll get to the president in a second. You see what Shake Shack is? They're in a bit of a pricing debate. We talked about Coca-Cola last time and that whole thing about the personalized.
Names on the cans?
Yeah. Shake Shack has gotten their hand bit a little bit. And I think Shake Shack, is it Steak and Shake or Shake Shack that is doing the beef tallow?
I think it's Steak and Shake.
I think that's right. Anyway, Shake Shack is in a bit of a pricing debacle.
What happened?
You know, we've talked before about tips and tipping and how ridiculous and out of control tips are. And it's like they stand there, they do almost nothing. And they flip that thing around to tell you to, finish off the purchase.
Yeah.
And it's asking you for a tip.
Yeah.
And it's like you didn't do anything. To ensure prompt service, TIPS, to ensure prompt service. What?
Well, you can say no tip.
Well, can you? And this is what Shake Shack has done. They've got this thing where you buy this stuff at the kiosk.
Yeah.
And then you go to check out. Let's say you get 3 chocolate malts, three large chocolate malts, and you go to the checkout. And the chocolate malts are, whatever they are, $7.49 each. So you go to the thing, you're ready to check out, and it asks if you'd like to have a tip or put a tip. And if you say no tip, it recalculates the cost of those drinks, and they are now no longer $7.49. They're $8.72
That's
each.
That's crazy.
Isn't it? And just like Coca-Cola says, oh, no. We didn't mean that. We didn't mean you can say Jesus is evil or Jesus is the devil, but you can't say Jesus is Lord or Jesus is King. We didn't mean to do that. We're going to rework this. That's what Shake Shack has now said. Oh, that was just a
mistake.
Yeah, it wasn't a mistake. It was a mistake, but it was one that they intended. I don't like using the word woke. I know you don't like when I use the word woke because, it's so common and whatever. Why do you not like that word so much? I know you hate it.
No, I don't. Well, I don't love it, but I feel like it can it can be overused.
No doubt about that. Well, AOC has used it. I don't know if you saw this. She wants a do-over. She wants a do-over from the 2020 era rhetoric. And this comes in the wake of, in the Wisconsin primary this last week on Tuesday.
I do.
Had that woman Hong, H-O-N-G, I think was her name. She was running, and she was running against another gentleman that I think his main thing was he wasn't her. She was very much the DSA, the Democratic Socialist of America.
Francesca Hong.
So Francesca Hong, and it was really down like with 3,000 votes were separating Francesca Hong and David Crowley. David Crowley won. But one of the things that Francesca Hong had said, it unearthed some past comments she had made on Instagram or something. And she had talked about how she was for the abolishing of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is not going to work.
No.
And at the very end of the campaign, that's really all people were talking about was she wants to abolish Thanksgiving. There are other people that on that side, the DSA side, want to do away with July 4th. Replace July 4th with, guess what? Juneteenth. Juneteenth is the real Independence Day, not July 4th. So there are people that want to do that. So as those things are unearthed, the chickens come to roost, as they say. Well, AOC has said, hey, listen, this was 2020 when we were saying things like this, and that was crazy. These are her words. It's crazy time. And it was a crazy time for all of it. Woke one. She called it woke one. It was like
and she means like the first time that we started to get to hear that word and know what it meant and use it in
She's saying woke one was crazy. It was crazy. She said, hey, listen, let's put aside all those things we used to say. Don't judge us on what we used to say. Don't judge us on saying that we should do away with July 4th or defund the police or abolish all borders or open up the gates to all prisons or welcome all immigrants, leave all immigrants here, illegal alien. Forget about all that. That was all woke one stuff, and they're really trying to rebrand themselves. And so she was on this week Without David Brinkley, which is the Sunday program. And she was asked about some of the positions that the socialists have taken. And here's what she said. Woke one was crazy. And I think that what's important is that we have to assess what a candidate is saying now. So sort of pay no attention to what I have said and listen to what I'm saying. And she talks about the pandemic and says, hey, that was just rhetoric of the time. And the rhetoric of the time is not rhetoric that we would use today. Well, I don't know whatever rhetoric you use today to say, let's do away with Thanksgiving, or whatever rhetoric you would use today to say, let's open the borders and open the jail cells and do away with the police and do away with ICE. I don't know what the rhetoric is today, but it's not the rhetoric. It's not the communication that is the problem. It is the message. But this is another example of how they really don't get it. I want to stand by one thing real quickly. I don't think the president is well. I don't think he's well.
You're not the only one.
We're seeing more and more of that in the news. And, obviously pray for the president, pray for the ones you voted for, pray for the ones you didn't. Maybe pray for the ones you didn't more than you pray for the one you voted for. But a separate thing, crazy details on the president's trip back from Turkey, about a month ago, after the NATO meetings there in Turkey. Remember the whole thing, how he was supposed to take the new Trumpian painted Air Force One, the one that was a gift from Qatar. So the Qatarian gift, the Qatarian Air Force One, is the one that he flew over there. And he was supposed to fly in it coming back. And they said, we're not going to do it. And some people said it's because they don't have enough good defensive measures. And the old one, they call it the Legacy Air Force One, or the old Air Force One, was the one that he was going to have to fly back in, because it does have, defensive measures and flares and whatever else. So that was the thing. So the president had to take the older Air Force One coming back from Turkey. And that was because there were some threats on the president's life. So the president had to take the older Air Force One coming back from Turkey. But he didn't.
What did he do?
Trump used an elaborate sort of ruse, a scheme to fly out of Turkey following the summit because there was an Iran threat, according to reports. Here's what happened, and you probably know all this by now, but the president secretly flew out of last month's summit, the NATO summit in Ankara, Turkey, on a different military aircraft. While the White House made it appear he was actually flying on Air Force One, the Legacy Air Force One. This was according to a report in the Washington Post Monday night. The Post said the operation was prompted by an Iranian assassination threat against Trump. So they carried out this sort of scheme with journalists on the plane.
They left them on the plane that was under threat.
And left a bunch of White House senior staff on the plane.
Left them on that plane thinking, with the ruse that the president was also still on that plane.
We're going to keep, well, that's right.
Yeah.
Except he wasn't.
Right.
And only a few people, only two, I think, people on the plane that basically had a target on it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, we can't put you on the Trumpian, the new one, the Qatari Air Force One. We're going to put you on this Air Force One. And then it's like, well, can't put you on that Air Force One because there's a shoulder fire missile threat that Israel told us about. And so we can't put you on that one. So what they did was they had, those big catering things that are lifted to the side of an airplane.
Yeah.
And, they give the trays of food or whatever.
Right.
Now, that's always the case when you fly commercial. When you go to the end of the jetway and you get on, you look straight across there, and that hatch over there is opened, and they're delivering food like that. So what happened was the president showed the president, on camera, the president's walking up and turns around and he waves and he walks right in, and everybody assumed he's on the plane, but he wasn't. He walked right through and got in one of those like catering trucks. That kind of makes sense. And then he was secretly shuttled to an Air Force C-32A smaller jet. And he flew to the UK, flew to Mendenhall on that smaller jet. But it really does bring up some interesting questions. I understand the whole thing of if the bombs are falling, not everybody is equal. You got to save the people that can be saved, and it's got to save the chain of command and all that. There is somebody to be protected. There's a reason why that someone would stand between a person who wants to end the life of a president and the president.
Sure.
Your job, there's an old saying, what is the job of someone in the president's Secret Service detail? And the answer is, if a bullet is coming to the president, stand in front of the president.
Yeah.
That is your job.
Yeah.
So in that case, there's a hierarchy. And frankly, his life for the country is more important than yours in that instance.
Mm-hmm.
But it does bring up weird thoughts. Who else got to go with the president? So
maybe more interestingly, who didn't?
Well, Marco Rubio didn't,
Yikes.
Which is really weird because he's third in line to the president.
Yeah.
Not only is he Secretary of State right now, he's also Director of National Intelligence, isn't he? Then when Tulsi Gabbard left, he took her gig too, right?
Yeah.
The president said, "Give it to Marco. Give it to Mikey. He'll eat anything. Give it to Marco. He'll do anything." So he gave it to Marco. So, but he's third in line with the president. And then you had also Scott Bessent, who is the Secretary of Treasury, and he's fifth in line to the president.
Yeah.
Who did he take with him? He took Pete Hegseth with him. He did. The president did. A couple of staffers and someone you're going to be hearing more about, I think, Natalie Harp. Do you know who Natalie Harp is?
Oh, she's the one who writes the tweets, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. They don't call her the Trump whisperer, but she sort of is. They call her the president's personal printer because she is always with him, personal assistant to the president. She's the one who prints out hard copy, positive stories and comments and quotes and tweets about the president to give to him, apparently all hours of the day and night. So she was...
You mean like good stories about him?
Yes. Like see people like you.
Well,
that sort of thing.
I mean, she probably gets a good night's sleep then. I
Sure.
mean, there aren't very many of those stories.
Well, in which case she will then have to put out a tweet or two. So Scott Bessent was not with the president. Marco Rubio was not with the president. Obviously the White House press corps, they were not with the president. So they were all on this flight that, in theory, this is the one that is the problem. So the president finally came out and said something about this. You might think, well, has this ever happened before? It happened once with Bill Clinton. Something was going on, maybe one of the wars, and they did this. But then he didn't fake that he was, getting off the plane that he was never on. Mm-hmm. Which that's the other end of that. The president did that.
Yeah.
So the president actually was then shuttled to Air Force One that he was supposed to have been on, and comes down the stairs as if he flew on that plane.
Wow.
And it's about a month later before we find out anything about it. When it was Clinton, he came out the next day with he didn't fake it, came out and explained, I think on the tarmac, he explained, here's what we did, here's why we did it, and blah, 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 blah. So here's what the president says. He said, look, I did not initiate the plan. He said, I was just following orders. I go by Secret Service and the military. They wanted me to go on a different flight, a different plane, so I do it. I do what they say. And then he's asked about the threats, and he downplays it and says, I guess there was a threat out there. I really didn't ask much about it. I get a lot of threats, he says. And then finally, he is asked about, how about the people you left on? The plane that was the decoy, the one that was at risk of being shot down, the one that would be shot down because everyone thought he was still on it. So paradoxically, the president suggests the alternate military plane that he boarded might actually have been at greater risk.
How so?
Than the decoy Air Force One left flying with staff and press, because people would assume, the president says, that he was on that other plane, which sort of flies in the face of the reason for pretending he was on one that was being targeted and secretly putting him on another one so he would be safer. You don't put him on one where he would be less safe.
No.
Put him on one that he would be more safe. Anyway, I mean, how can that plane, no one knows he's on, be at more risk than the plane that everyone believes he's on? Just odd. Doesn't make sense.
No.
There is really no good news on the war. It's the same. They control the Strait of Hormuz. There's no action, no movement. I guess the good news, if there is good news, is, no Americans have died, but price of oil is still high. A barrel of oil is still high. Gas pumps still have the prices rather high. And, of course, anything can change. It could change to the good. It could change to the other before you even get to hear this. Oh, it is time for Scattershoot.
Let's go.
Wilder Show Scattershoot. All right.
I have a little update on a correction actually to make on, we were talking about the library.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, maybe, week and a half or so ago. Yeah. And I said I got a new library card after a long time of not having a library card and not really regularly using my local library. I decided to get back into the swing of that. And I was shocked that it appeared there was no due date. Like there's not a little envelope on the inside,
There's
front
a stamp
cover
on it and says
with where you can see last time it was due and when it was due. Exactly. I kind of missed that history. So I thought, well, it just must never be due.
Call of the Wild.
I get to keep it.
Hey, last person to check this out, it was due in 1964.
Yeah. Anyway, I clearly just didn't know how it worked with all of our fancy new technology since the last time I had a library card. Now, I just got an email saying, Lauren Lintner, your library book is due.
Oh,
actually, it was due yesterday. I haven't taken it back yet, but that's okay because there are no fines anymore.
There are no fines. There's no punishment.
But I'm not gonna take advantage of that. I think I can renew it. I'm not. It's a pretty thick book.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten through it yet. I have a life. I have some other things going on too. So that was me telling my mother why my reading homework is not done. But yeah, I want to finish the book. And there was, in fact, a due date. And I will renew it, which I think I can do on my handy little app. So,
how long was they would give it to you on one day? And when is it due? Like you'd have it how many?
It was 3 weeks.
That sounds right.
It was 3 weeks from when I checked out the book.
3 weeks, yeah. But at least there's no punishment if you give it back to them in like 4 months.
Well, I don't think that. I mean, I'm probably not going to push it that far.
No, sure.
But I'll be
the system.
Well, I have in the past, but I won't. Oh yeah. I mean, we've had back when it was a dime a day.
Yeah.
It was not unusual for us to have fines up in the double digits.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, we were.
All right. Good for you.
I can't blame it on my kids. It was me. I was that was just those the library books always just kind of fell to the bottom of the bottom of the stack of stuff that had to get done.
I got
but
you.
I'm turning over a new leaf.
Are you?
I will renew this book.
We'll check on that.
Okay. Keep me accountable. I appreciate that.
Overdue day one.
Yeah.
We'll help you.
Okay, I appreciate that. Speaking of something that I think kind of fell towards the bottom of the stack, or something maybe that I just kind of stopped paying attention to. Do you remember many years ago? Well, it seems kind of like this has been an ongoing thing. We've heard for many, many, many years about how Barbie dolls are terrible for little girls because they're not representative. They might do a Barbie. There might be, an airline pilot Barbie, an astronaut Barbie, and corporate CEO Barbie, and dentist Barbie, and Dr. Barbie. But all of the Barbies just kind of looked the same. And it was not really the way she looked. Her figure was not really representative of normal women.
Yeah. And so the Dr. Barbie or fashionista Barbie would have the same exact body type as softball coach Barbie.
Exactly.
Or, whatever.
And they all had a hairbrush.
PE teacher Barbie.
Yeah, it didn't matter what they did for a living. They all had a hairbrush. But yeah, she had impossible proportions. And for many, many, many years, parents and pediatricians and experts were all upset about this. So way back in 1996, why are you laughing?
Well, they're impossible, but you can try.
What do you mean?
I'm kidding.
No.
It was very bad. It's very bad. Very bad. I had a daughter. I have a daughter, but I had a daughter.
I know.
Dolls. Completely get it. That was a joke.
If you only knew what it took to make sure that the Barbie's waist to hip and every other ratio
for real life.
matches sort of matches up with a real person.
That's crazy.
File this under things that I never would have guessed were actually jobs. 2 trained specialists independently identified and measured the same points on every doll. Let me go back just for a second. We're talking about the Barbie fashionista dolls. I'm not sure if I made this really clear.
All right.
And, from way back in 1996, they started changing the way that Barbies were made to maybe respond to some of the criticism that we were talking about.
You mean to make the breast size a little more normal and their waist size a little more normal and their hip size a little more normal? They weren't all, 40, 28,
that's
36.
Exactly. So, yeah. So it's all about the, like I said, the ratios, they had these tiny, tiny little waists and large hips and large chests. And it's just not the way that most real women are created. And
most people don't know that in those days, those Barbies actually did remove the lower two ribs to achieve that very small waist.
So all I have to do is put those ribs back and everything will be fine. But so back to this. Yeah. I never even knew this was a job. Yeah. 2 trained specialists independently identified and measured the same points on every doll. This is to make sure that they could, change the waist and the hips and all of that and make them more in line with what real women look like. Their neck and their chest and their waist and their hips and their thighs and their calves and their ankles and their upper arms, their forearms and wrists.
Goodness.
So to make fair comparisons between the dolls of different sizes and real people of varying heights, this team mathematically scaled all measurements to standard height of 170.18 centimeters, which is roughly 5 feet 7 inches, using a well-established scientific scaling method. I have no idea what that method is, but so it seems to be working a little bit. Okay, so these 4 new models. Curvy Barbie. There's curvy Barbie. There's petite Barbie. There's standard Barbie, and there's tall Barbie.
Let me clarify. When you say curvy Barbie, I would think the normal one is the curvy. I don't have her
measurements or anything.
But you mean curvy Barbie is a little plumper?
Well, see, I don't think she's
normal Barbie would be just normal Barbie, right?
Well,
but you have skinny Barbie and the
which is the normal Barbie? The one who never really was.
Yeah. I mean, the normal. Yeah, that's what I mean. The standard. You said that one of those was standard or something like that. I think
they tried to get even standard even tall Barbie to be a little bit more, more normal in terms of scale. Okay. So curvy Barbie is the one who comes closest to matching real female measurements. And that matters because in previous research, children described curvy Barbie as big, fat, and chubby. And Barbie. She was the least wanted doll in one of the studies that they did. And another study found that petite Barbie was the most preferred overall, which they say that this is kind of a mixed picture that hints at a tension between realistic proportions and children's preferences, though they say the evidence is not consistent enough to draw firm conclusions. In other words, even if you make the Barbies look like real people, like real little girls and their moms, they still want the tiny little petite ones.
If you think about this for a second, the whole point of having, I don't know, I never had any, but the whole point of having dolls is for the pretend. And you pretend that they're this and they're having a tea and whatever they're doing and all this kind of stuff. And, so I don't know why we have to make sure. I understand the whole thing of we don't want to put up an unrealistic expectation for girls so that, they become, body shaming people.
That's exactly
in their early days. However, if you create this one that is supposed to not do it, and they're still looking at that doll to live up to, it just seems like they're saying, why can't these girls want the right Barbies that we want them to want? Why can't we get them to prefer the thing? We need to work harder to make sure that they prefer the thing that we think is best for them to prefer. It's all make-believe.
Well, see,
and I don't look like G.I. Joe either.
We haven't even gotten to Ken yet, so give me just a few minutes. There are a lot of things that speak to what is attractive to little girls, to where they get these images of what they think they should be. It's not obviously all about the dolls. There's television, there's movies, there's advertising, social media, and also just the way they interact with peers. But I don't know. It is a really delicate thing with girls. I mean, I had a daughter, you had a daughter. You want to be really careful that they're not, especially at an an early age getting these ideas of what their bodies are supposed to look like that might really be not
unhealthy.
Only unhealthy, but sure. Impossible.
Well, it's impossible. But here's the deal. It's so funny to watch how we like pick one thing and then we really want to work toward that. But then our default is really something else. We want this thing, but the number one show is The Bachelor or The Bachelorette.
Oh, I know.
We want to talk about the scholarship stuff, but the people that win the pageants are still the pretty girls that look best in bathing suits.
Look good in bathing suits.
And look better in not nightgowns, but evening gowns. That is just the way it is. If you want to really put the kibosh on that, do away with those things. Don't have those shows. Those shows will always exist because why? People watch them. Mm-hmm. So all the thing about, a woman doesn't need a man. A woman doesn't need a man. Hey, listen, I'll tell you more about how a woman doesn't need a man. But right now, The Bachelorette is on. So I'll call you in 3 hours.
Well, after all of these, after this study that took them quite a while to do all these measurements on these little dolls, but Malibu Ken did do better than the original Ken doll. His neck and chest and arms and legs are all more realistic than those of the 1959 original Ken doll, but he still has his waist is still just a little bit too small.
Probably 28.
To be
probably something really
normal.
Small. Yeah, but the thing is, I never had a Ken doll. I don't.
We had a Ken doll here. My daughter had it. We bought very few.
Maybe Caroline had but about me as a kid. Yeah, we didn't. We had like G.I. Joes.
Yeah.
And we would put a piece of string between the top bunk bed and the doorknob and make him rappel down.
Yeah.
Things like that. We'd throw him off the roof with a parachute on the top, on his back.
Oh, yeah.
And see if he could make it, float down.
Loads of fun.
Never did.
Mm-hmm.
Always made a more rapid descent than was our goal. But
just got to work a little bit harder on that parachute.
Those we call those action figures, not dolls.
Yes,
for boys,
that's right.
They were action figures.
That's right. That's right. Well, anyway, while we're talking about Barbie, have you heard there's other news in the Barbie world? If you have a movie that's like the highest grossing movie of the summer a few years ago, Barbie, of course you're going to try to make another one, right? Mm-hmm. Well, talks for Barbie Part 2, which is not even really a working title. Mm-hmm. They might have a working title, but they haven't announced it yet. Everybody wants a whole lot more money.
Well, of course.
So they've kind of stalled. Ryan Gosling, Margot Robbie, even Greta Gerwig. Apparently there's an idea for the next movie, but talks are sort of stalled right now over financial issues.
Well, they created a very pretty monster.
Yeah.
Because there is no other Barbie. It is Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
She is Barbie.
Well,
and more so than Gosling is Ken. You could have, Ken's roommate, but you can't have.
I don't think that
Barbie.
You didn't see it though, did you?
No, I didn't know.
You saw him sing at the Academy Awards,
I
though,
did,
right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I mean, he stole the show.
I understand, but I'm just saying, in concept, or maybe just make a Ken movie. I can't believe people would go see that, but I guess, whatever. But my point is, for Barbie, she is Barbie.
Yeah.
And she and Ryan and the whole thing and Greta, that's how it became so popular. If you want to do it again, it's going to cost a lot of money. It's just the way it's the way it works.
Yeah.
So at least we've now settled that girls don't need to try and achieve something insurmountable. They just need to try and be like Margot Robbie.
That was it. You need to see the movie because that was actually a part of it. That was addressed in the movie. I think you'd like it. I'm not saying you have to watch it 17 times or anything, but when you are someone who says the answer to the question "Have you watched?" is always yes.
That's true. I haven't seen that, though.
I mean, it's not.
Maybe on a flight. Maybe on a flight I'll watch.
Okay, on your tiny little baby television.
Nobody's watching that I'm watching. I
think you'd get a kick out of it.
Yeah, I probably would. But I mean, I never saw La La Land. I mean,
La La Land's a great movie.
Everybody says that.
It is a great movie.
Yeah, it could be a great movie and just not be for me.
It might not be.
It might not be my idea of, or not. I could say that is a great movie, and I have no interest in watching it.
Okay,
but.
That's fine.
Maybe for La La Land. I don't know. I tend to think no.
Okay.
Sometimes I watch and see who thinks it's great, And then I wonder
I'm
if
not
I
enough.
Oh, Lauren, don't say
That's
that.
okay. That's okay.
No, you know what I mean.
That's okay.
I mean, sometimes
I know what you mean.
Sometimes there are whole groups that are really crazy excited about something, and I think I don't know.
You mean like the Motion Picture Academy?
Okay, all right, you win.
In this case, at least
You win. Yeah, that's right. That's
in
what I meant.
both of those
that's
cases,
what I meant.
actually.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Can you stand on one foot for 30 seconds? Can you balance on one foot?
I stand on one foot
seconds?
for 30 minutes.
I bet you can't.
30 minutes?
30 seconds.
Absolutely, I can.
You can?
Sure.
That's really good.
I can. On one foot, just stand on one foot for 30 seconds.
Balance on one foot for 30 seconds.
I say balance, or you're just standing, right? I mean, you're not.
Well,
you're not like
takes
doing
balance.
anything. Well,
no,
yeah,
you're not doing
I mean,
anything. But
remember that time you made me get all the way on the ground and then get up, and it was not that big a deal.
No, you did great.
Yeah, I think. Why is that important to know how to do?
It is very important to know how to do it.
Maybe I can't.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of people who can't, and actually, we're almost to the age where they say this is really important. We're not quite to the age where they say, but older adults with higher fitness scores across multiple physical tests had substantially lower risk of dying over a 7-year period.
Gross.
And when they looked at balance and agility tests, particularly the one-leg stance, there's also like a short-timed walk and turn course that is kind of a part of this, but it was really more than anything, the one-leg stance. If you can do that, that is the strongest link to survival for the next 7 years. And of course, this was a study of a lot of older people over a period of time, and they checked all of these things, but they also checked things like, blood pressure and all of the physical things that we think would tell you are more likely to point to longevity. And it turns out that these things that you can practice, because if you can't stand for 30 seconds on one foot today, keep trying, and chances are you'll get there. Practice, practice, practice.
I would have thought that. So you're saying that the ability to balance on one foot for 30 seconds is a key to survival.
It shows that you are in good enough shape that you have got this functionality that is more likely to be a part of a person who's going to survive for the next 7 years.
See, I would think the ability to run fast would be
but
run away from danger and
67 to 72, they're not looking at
wild animals.
Not talking about senior citizens in the wild.
Hooligans.
They just mean like, in your kitchen, like walking around the house.
Yeah. Well, I'll outside your presence, I'll check on that and I'll report back.
There is actually a sort of a way that you can test it. You can hold on to something. So, start off with good, like both feet on the floor, hold on to something, and just pick up one foot and then let go of what you're holding on to and time yourself. Try it between now and the next time we talk, and you can hold me accountable on whether or not I've renewed my library book, and I will see how long you can balance on one foot. But the whole thing is, don't get discouraged if you can't do it right away. Okay. Keep track of, write it down. Like if today is 15 seconds, or it might be 30 seconds. You might already have it in the bag.
Can I tell you what I think the key is?
Yeah.
I think the key is to keep that second foot low to the ground.
Well,
no, I mean, so not so you can touch it. Keep it low to the ground, relatively level.
Yeah.
The way it would be on the ground.
Yeah.
And that way you're not lifting it up like a stork.
Well, you don't have to do anything fancy.
What if I could? I could stand like a stork. Just pull one leg up and put your heel or whatever right in the knee area.
That's actually the image that goes along with the story.
Yeah. That's funny.
They show a very healthy looking older woman.
I would say though the key though is keep that at the second low for people that are going to try this. Try it first with the lifting leg rather low.
Okay.
Not to tempt you that you'll touch the ground, but it doesn't involve a balancing issue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, but you're supposed to be balancing.
No. But what I'm saying is sometimes they say hold your arms out to your side or hold your hands above your head.
Yeah,
or
you don't have to do
hold
that here.
one foot way out in front. That would be different.
Yeah.
If all you have to do is balance for 30 seconds on one foot.
Just I
think I think many people can do that.
Until your other foot touches the ground or your hand has to reach out to grab for something. And then if it's 10 seconds today, it might be 12 seconds tomorrow. Just keep on trying to build up to that. If you would like more information on this and you want to know what are some other things that you can sort of test in yourself, these agility type things and balance type things to show that you are on a good track for being alive for the next 7 years,
that's right.
Send an email to podcast@wildershow.com and I will send it to you.
There you go.
People are starting to lose hope that they will ever see Taylor Swift's wedding dress.
Yeah, I've been down about that.
No, you haven't.
Yeah,
you open your phone every morning hoping that today is
zero.
the day that you will see her wedding dress.
I have zero cares, really. It's not that I don't, okay, they showed it. I would say, oh, look at that. If they don't show it, they go, oh, they didn't? I mean, that is the level of my interest.
That's the level of your interest. But a lot of people have a lot of interest in this. And they're wondering why, for somebody who's been so open about so many things over such a long period of time, why is she kind of keeping this a secret? I don't think they have any. They haven't come to any conclusions. I think I know why, though. I mean, wouldn't you want to? I don't blame her for wanting to have something that's private and something that is not commented on by everybody and their brother. I mean, for everyone who says that, oh, that's beautiful, what a lovely dress, there are going to be so many more who are going to talk about how much money it cost. And couldn't she, and this, it was that it was ugly, or it made her look this, or it made her look that.
If you have $1 trillion, you don't care. I mean, just either put it out or don't put it out. Look, she's a great marketer.
Maybe she cares.
Maybe there's not a reason to put it out. Maybe there's not a marketing attachment to put it out. Maybe she doesn't want
that's
to.
Not the only reason.
No, but I mean to say, even maybe she doesn't want to, give extra whatever juice to whoever the designer was that she picked, or to seem to diss the other 4 that she bought but did not use. I mean, who knows? Yeah. But it's just on people. It wasn't like it was a year ago. It's like exactly a year ago that they did something, that she and Travis were on some. I saw it popped up as, it just said 1 year ago. And it was like maybe a year ago yesterday. And it was when they were on the podcast. They were announcing something. It wasn't, it was something. I don't know what it was.
And it wasn't a wedding date or their engagement or anything like that?
I double-checked. The date was 2025. So it was exactly a year ago. But I don't know. That's how much I care.
I don't know.
I didn't even read beyond the headline.
I like to think that maybe she just wants to keep, or they want to keep, just, as far as I know, nobody cares, what kind of tuxedo he wore. But maybe they just want to keep a little bit of it private. Privacy. We already know a whole lot. We know about so many people who were there. We know who performed. We know what song she, that they played, that she walked down the aisle to. I kind of like the idea of just having one thing that the whole world can't comment on. I mean, I've heard so many people lately. I have some friends whose daughter is expecting a baby, and they know the gender of the baby, and they've shared that with everyone. Okay. But they're not telling anybody what they're going to name her. All right. Mostly because they don't want it. Well, the conjecture is they don't want anybody to tell them, oh, what an ugly name. Yeah. Or I don't like that, or why did you pick that? They don't even want to see
the look on
they
their face.
don't want to see the look on their faces.
I got it.
I think what they think is, when you're holding this beautiful little baby in your arms,
this is fill in the blank.
You will never, you would never be able to say, you're beautiful, but what an ugly name.
This is Horatio. Everybody goes, Horatio. And his twin sister, Gertrude. Yeah. And by then you're going to really, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I do too.
I do like, it's like, I don't know, and we're dealing with this right now too, and that is sort of the name thing. And I like that all is kept private. I don't like they're not going to workshop names at a family dinner. Yeah, we're thinking about this and thinking about this and thinking about this. I just like it's up to you guys.
It should be up to you guys.
It doesn't matter. You're going to. I mean, my advice would be, don't give a kid a name that she has to spell the rest of her life. Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah. But other than that, I really have no input. Actually, I have no input. I don't offer any thoughts at all.
It's kind of hard
once
for
it's
me.
announced, I say that is great.
Isn't it hard for you to believe that anybody would do anything different than that?
Different than what?
That other than just being accepting and being encouraging.
I know people who very much feel that
It should be a group effort.
Then my business is my business, and your business is my business. People feel very free, very comfortable to share their opinions that really could be hurtful things.
Yeah.
So why don't you just take care of your own monkeys and your own circus, and everybody else will take care of their monkeys. Name your own babies. That's right. You name your babies, we'll name ours.
Yeah. That's it.
That is the Wilder Show podcast. Drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time or before on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube. On the TikTok, rarely. On Instagram as Wilder Show Pod. The email is podcast@wildershow.com, or just engage us wherever you listen. Like give us a thumbs up or a comment. That's good. Right there on the platform, wherever you listen. So wherever you get your podcast, would you just like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share? And we'll appreciate that. And Lauren, thank you.
You bet.
And we'll see you next time.
Da 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 da.